And right now we're going to be taking a call from Marcia in Barre. Go ahead, Marcia.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thank you.
How can we help you today?
First, congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm calling because I have a window weatherization issue.
Okay.
I have in my kitchen above my sink a square window that I call my Peter Pan window because it opens in the middle and the two sides go out to the right and left, and it has a latch. And we used to have a storm, which was really, really hard to put in. So we stopped putting the storm in, and I do not know whether it's just the fact that perhaps the whole frame has sagged, or I don't know what, or if it's just because I'm getting all older and I feel it more. But it is freezing in front of this window. It just leaks cold. It just leaks cold air. Now, I keep it available to be open during any season because in case the smoke alarm goes off in the kitchen.
Of course.
And I need to get it open, quickly. And today it's open to enjoy this beautiful weather.
Yes.
But I'd like to know, is there some way to seal up this window and cut the leaks and cut the cold air and still keep the window available?
Sure, absolutely. So there are a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, is it a single pane window? Does it only have one sheet of glass, or can you?
It's like 6 or 8 panes per window.
Okay, yeah. So this is a pretty old window.
In a wooden frame. Wooden frame window.
So when we talk about, so there are two things that we can look at for a window for comfort. One is the ability of the window to not let cold air in, and that's the leakiness of it. And then there's just the conductive losses, the fact that it's only one pane, and the cold, even if there was no wind, is able to get through the window and into the room. And that's dealing with the window itself. So our first recommendation would be a single pane window should be upgraded to at least a double pane window, and a good replacement window would fix your conductive losses, the fact that if it's cold outside and it's warm inside, that warmth is leaving through that window, and that's chilling you down. The other is if you're...
Is there anything that I can do without having to replace the window?
Yeah, there certainly is.
I qualify for weatherization, and they don't do windows, and I don't have much money.
Yeah.
So with that, one of the things is making sure that the mechanisms are still working appropriately. So if it's latching, making sure that when your window's latch, a lot of people think it's just for security, but it's also causing the window around the frame to engage the weather stripping as you latch it appropriately, or you turn this window in, crank it in. It needs to go ahead and make up the boundary or the barrier with the weather with the weather stripping all the way around the perimeter of the sash. What? I'm sorry?
I don't have any on it anymore.
I'm sorry?
I don't think there is any weather stripping on it anymore.
So having somebody that could take a look at this would be really beneficial to see, because even some of the oldest windows, you can still go to the original manufacturer, if there is a manufacturer on this one, that is like on the pane of glass, it'll be printed there, or you can just take a sample of the weather stripping that's there, if there's any left, and get something that will work. There is one national company called Pitkin's Window Service, and they actually they're online, and if you send them a sample of the existing weather stripping, they'll send you back replacements, and you just tell them how many linear feet you need, and then a technician can have this installed for you and make it serviceable once again. I'm sure some of the local lumber yards as well, especially the sponsors here, would offer some of these at the same time, but some of these older windows, a lot of times the profile of the weather stripping isn't readily found on the shelf, and you can't just go down to a hardware store and buy the specific type. So it would be important to get a set of eyes put on this, make sure that the window's operating and latching appropriately, and see what can be done for the actual weather stripping, and also to confirm whether or not you have any kind of rot with the window or infiltration of water that's causing some issues behind the scenes which we can't see.
I'd also like to point out that we've been in a number of houses where especially in front of a window where your sink is, right? That's the way we build kitchens. We have a sink. You're standing in front of the sink a lot of the time. You like the looking out through the window. Oftentimes, it's not the window that's causing the cold. Oftentimes, it's the plumbing going through the outside wall that has not been properly air sealed under the sink, because those things are often run up right through the wall. So your comfort issues.
Which is why I asked them if they could weatherize that wall. Put blow some insulation in, and they couldn't. That's not what weatherization was able to do.
Right.
So I agree with you.
So I would.
Sockets that are on the wall leak through the holes in the socket too.
That's a perfectly good example of the whole building system, right? You're thinking the window is while I'm cold, but maybe it's the window and that leakage. And I'm sorry that the weatherization people said that it wasn't in their wheelhouse to take care of that for you. But if we get your number, we'll make sure we get you in touch with someone in your area who can come out and give you the proper recommendations for the wall and the window, do all that work for you, and hopefully if it's a financial burden, we can find some way of making sure that happens, because you should not be cold standing at your kitchen.
And Marcia, I was also thinking of something, granted you said that you do need to have it readily accessible for, in case the smoke alarm goes off, to ventilate the space all seasons. But
in addition to my stove hood.
Yes.
I think hood fan. I think it's still good to have a window.
Well, one thing, you mentioned that you're having problems getting the exterior storm in, but there are interior storm windows, but they're not really easy to take right back out. But for some people who do live in older homes with the older windows, that is one solution too. And it's an interior storm that a professional can come out and take measurements and have that installed. I mean, a lot of people put the plastic over there with a blow dryer and shrink wrap basically their window. This interior storm, though, is more robust, and it can be used year after year to effectively get that secondary barrier for you. But with your case, understanding that this is a window that you want to have access to, that probably wouldn't be the best fit. But I would recommend, and Chris will be able to help with this, and getting a professional that you can trust in, and also that could put a set of eyes on this to help you ascertain what's the best direction to go.
What about the insulation, the felt or the foam or whatever it is that might go over the edges of the window or into the sill where the window goes, that might help to seal it, or around the hinge side of it? Perhaps that's what's missing.
Yeah, there are all options, and we would love to give you advice on how to do it specifically, but we'd have to get eyes on it to do that. So.
Right.
And even with that, I was in a basement this morning before the show, and I was looking at work that one of our clients had performed, and he had gotten some of that felt weather stripping, but it wasn't, by his own admission, he could still see daylight. So it wasn't installed the way it needed to be installed. So I offered a different type of weatherization or weather stripping for him, and we were able to install that for him this morning to seal up the opening. So yes, you're right. Addressing some of those things, that weather stripping will be fundamental to make this a tighter window assembly, and a professional can help you do that.
So, Marcia, if you could just hold on, and we want to make sure we get your contact information, and we'll get back in touch with you and make sure we get someone out there who can get their eyes on it, someone who's going to do the right thing. And if there's financial issues about that, we can talk about that later and make sure that work can be done. You should not be cold in your kitchen.
Thank you very, very, very much.
Great.
You're welcome, Marcia. Have a great day.
Have a good weekend.
You as well.
Okay. And so if you have any questions regarding your home, or if you're looking to build new and you have questions on how to best do that from a energy efficiency side, but also from a structural side, or how you should appoint your home,